Get 100 done?
Yeah.
Oh, you got
60.
There you go, good. Andy was fixing this day. He said, you know what it's like trying to fix this house. Make sure it's ready. I was like, well, I said, I think Damon's got a little easier to do. It's fixed.
Yep. You go out in the dirt.
It is. Daniel, you fired up?
It's ready.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Ask everybody to rise. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to the April 15th Board of Commissioners meeting. Roll call, please.
Groats,
Present?
Odd,
Here.
Burgess, Bowman,
Here.
and Obermeyer.
Here, open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers. It is on our website, also in the hallway outside of our chambers. Proof of publication was in the News Times, April 10th, and also on our website. Review and approve the minutes of our April 1st Board of Commissioner meeting.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Joe. Any other discussion? Roll call, Mary.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Groats,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, adopt today's agenda.
Motion to adopt agenda?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Groats,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, officials forum.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Harv.
York County Highway Superintendent Harvey Kime. I don't have a whole lot to talk about other than we're crack sealing the pavements, trying to keep the water out from underneath them right now. Hauling gravel in, still blading the roads, trying to get everything back into shape after the little tizzy that Mother Nature threw at us. Other than that, everything's kind of on an even keel out there. So.
Anybody?
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Harv.
You bet. Have a good day.
Any other officials this morning? Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Brandon.
Now, this is the handouts.
Okay.
I'm Brennan Cole, the Juvenile Services Coordinator for York County.
There you go.
And I'm Skylar Peterson, the new juvenile diversion youth case manager for York and Polk County.
So I just want to take this opportunity to introduce her to all of you and all of you to her, and to also show that we are moving locations to across the street to follow the North Lincoln Avenue. And really, I didn't want to take up much of your time and just kind of say face and say hello.
So how long have you been with us, Skylar? Just started?
Yep, just started second week.
Second week?
Yep.
Okay, and you're both going to be officing across the way? Okay. And you have changed, obviously, too, Brennan, your position?
Yep, I'm now the coordinator of both truancy and diversion programs.
Okay. So far, so good, right?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions of Skylar or Brennan? Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sure we'll see you, well, not necessarily in hallways as much, but whenever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other officials this morning? Morning, Lori.
Lori Byers, here on behalf of York County Public Transit. Just wanted to give you a little update. We are being audited. It's an audit by NDOT, not the feds. So it's like a pre-audit for drug and alcohol on May 15th, and the York lab will participate in this audit. They're the ones that perform our drug and alcohol testing. So just wanted to let you know.
Who all gets tested?
All of our drivers and myself, because I am a backup driver, and our dispatcher also does backup driving.
Okay.
So anyone who drives a public vehicle is subject to random drug testing.
Any questions for Lori? I'll see you later in the agenda.
Yep.
Thank you, Lori. Any other officials this morning? Seeing no more get up, we will move on to the public comment section of our agenda. Anybody from the public may come forward at this time and speak for 2 to 3 minutes on an issue if they would like. All we'd ask is they just give their name. Looks like I've got 2. Morning, Dustin.
Good morning, everybody. Dustin Marvel on behalf of Omaha Public Power District. Over the past 2 years, we've made significant strides in outreach efforts throughout York County, focusing on promoting transparency and honesty in the discussions we've had around renewable energy. Today, I stand before you to encourage this leadership to embrace meaningful compromise and collaboration. Let's join forces to find a constructive path forward instead of defaulting to a de facto ban on utility-scale solar. It's time to champion progress and innovation in a way that truly benefits York County. The current zoning regulations on solar in York County are unduly restrictive and in effect constitute a de facto ban on utility-scale solar development. These regulations impose substantial and arbitrary barriers at a time when Nebraska utilities are actively working to add new generation capacity and maintain affordable rates for all residents. Notably, the regulations prohibit the use of land voluntarily leased by landowners for solar development, an unjust and overreach that undermines property rights and stifles economic opportunity. Moreover, these regulations directly contradict York County's own comprehensive plan, which encourages the development of solar energy systems. This is an inconsistency with the county's stated goals and may raise concern about the alignment with its intended planning objectives that could impact public confidence in the planning process. I recognize that this journey has been lengthy, but we still have important work ahead of us. We need to find a way to work together to find that balance. Finally, the restrictive regulations expose York County to potential legal challenges related to land use, energy policy, and constitutional rights. I urge you to oppose the solar resolution today. It threatens to drain millions of dollars from York County. So let's keep residents positive and moving forward rather than tied to outdated practices. Let's unite our efforts to discover a common goal and ground that paves the way for responsible land use laws and not use arbitrary methods. Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin. Morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Hanson. I'm the president of Nebraska Farmers Union, and we have been a leader on value-added agriculture. We've been a leader in creating new value and new benefit from those things that we already own, control, or produce. So our organization looks at renewable energy and says, first of all, this is an agricultural activity. It goes, the easements go to landowners, the benefits go to farmers, ranchers, who are making the private property owner's decision about what is the highest and best use of their property. So when we travel across the state of Nebraska and work with our partners at the county level, we're asking them to do several things, and that is to remember that at the end of the day, this is a new use, but it's an agricultural use because wind and solar projects are not appropriately sited in urban communities. So we don't have federal land, so where do they go? They go to private land, which is primarily agriculture. So this is an agricultural producer's decision to make about what they do on their property. And so remember that. This is also value-added agriculture at its best. One of the real pioneers of value-added agriculture in the state of Nebraska came right here from York County, Alfred Morandi, who served for a long time on the Nebraska Farmers Union Board of Directors, who traveled across the state of Nebraska and tried to get the public to understand the potential value of ethanol, which is value-added agriculture. So it was a new idea, it was a new concept. So here you are trying to say that we can not only grow food and feed and those kinds of things, the traditional things with ag, but we can also use it for fuel. And so Alfred Morandi laid the groundwork by building statewide support on Farmers Union's dime going across the state, saying that this has all this potential. And so we're familiar with new ideas and the pushback that comes with new ideas. And so everybody said ethanol will never work, and yet here we are, the nation's second largest ethanol producing state. And we led the effort to create the Nebraska Ethanol Board in 1971 and to get that established and going. So we look at renewable energy as a way to drag additional tax base into rural communities. We have over $6 billion worth of tax base that's new. We have new farm income. We have new tax revenues. This is a pull yourself up by the bootstraps, self-help, kind of help yourself kind of approach to property tax relief. So, and my other hats that I wear, I've worked in the past with your former superintendent of schools here, Mike Lucas, going across the state talking about our state tax system and how we need to reform it and reduce our reliance on property taxes. And one of the things that you look at is what can we do to bring in new tax base. So renewable energy is that. And so I hope that you, when you look at the resolution later today, that you don't pick the winner and loser option, but that you remember that my right to have wind or solar in my property is your right not to. It's the same right, and it shouldn't be winner take all, and one set of opinions shouldn't terminate another neighbor's rights. And so we look at this as let's remember that we both have the same right, and at the end of the day, let's make sure that the regulations that we put in place respect both set of landowners with different opinions, ability to keep their private property rights and make that decision on their property over what is the highest and best use. With that, thank you.
Thank you, John. Next member of the public. Morning, Millard.
Hey. Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13. My address is York. I'm a proud resident of the Bradshaw area, and don't forget it. Okay, I want to lead off this morning with a reminder of what day the last meeting was on. And in case you don't remember, it was April 1st, and that's April Fool's Day by tradition. And my thought after your vote, especially on the topic that everybody else has been talking about, I thought, man, that's a good April Fool's deal. I thought that's the best one I ever heard. And then I found out, oh, it wasn't that. And of course, I've been up here many times talking in a whole lot of different forums about this particular topic. And the thing that has bothered me through the whole process is that from the very, very, very first meeting that the county zoning board, or whatever you call them, had, their statement, you can go back and listen to the recording, their basic statement was, we gonna find some regulations that make it impossible or make it as hard as possible to do a solar project. Go back and listen to the meeting, because that's exactly what they said. In general, that has not changed, and that's fine. That's fine for them to have that opinion. One of my issues is with that is that when you do that and only look at one side, and if the purpose was
to make sure you can't do this, that could end up costing us taxpayers a whole lot of money if you end up in court in such and such a way. And it would be, you know, spending all of our taxpayer money to do that. And what I find interesting is some of the people on, you know, basically the one side that are supporting the fact of not doing this solar, a lot of those people are the same people that come to tax meetings and say you're spending too much tax money, you're spending too much on this and too much on that, but yet that could very easily come to fruition that you guys are gonna have to spend our tax money going to court. And that has bothered me since the very, very beginning. And I like to find middle ground on most things. And my biggest concern is that through this whole process, over these 3 years, I've probably only missed 3 or 4 meetings on any of this subject ever. And it's always been, it's always been looked at as the majority of people at the meeting seem to think it's a negative thing. The other thing that's happened to me since that last meeting, I've had, I can't believe how many people that I had no idea were paying attention to this. They come up to me and says, what did they do? You know, what did they do? And I said, well, they, in my opinion, voted to not allow solar in this county. That's in my opinion. And they kind of had that, and some of the, I had to explain to some of them that there's a couple of people on this board that have kind of stood on one ground the whole time, and that's their choice to do that. There's other people that I felt have tried to look at everything, one side or the other, and there was one person that more people, I cannot believe how many people said, who got to that one commissioner?
Next, Willard. Morning, Will.
Good morning. William Williamson, 1814 Rodell. I have not personally talked to any of you, but I know you understand why I'm here. Is the fire at the corner of Road 19 and L. I think if it was harvest time, we would have a completely different plan of action than we do right now. And I think it's beyond the landowner's purview to take care of it. The way I understand it is they issued them a burn permit after the pile started on fire. And as that, if I had a burn permit, it would be my responsibility to maintain and make sure that it was taken care of. Yesterday morning between 7:30 and 10 with the wind that we had, it jumped the road into our ditch and our pasture, which caused a response from York Fire and Benedict Fire because 911 was called. And I just think, or would like to know what the procedure is or what we can do about it. It seems like we can't get an answer on who's responsible or who can take over and make sure that this is taken care of. It's an environmental problem. We've got calves in the pasture. It's affecting them. It's affecting our houses. It's affecting the neighborhood depending on which direction the wind is going. And I don't know if there's any advice or if you have any answers or what we could do there.
Will, I'd say that is that the end of your comments?
Yes.
Okay. I would say that my first inkling would be let's talk to the county attorney after the meeting. I know he's in meetings today, but talk to the county attorney would be my first step. And then after this meeting, we can have another conversation.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Will. Anybody else from the public this morning? Morning.
Good morning. My name is Nate Harrell, and I live in Omaha.
Could you spell your last name?
Harrell, H-O-R-R-E-L-L.
Thank you.
Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to speak in this setting. I first want to call to attention that we are gathered here in the most fundamental spirit of democracy, and no matter what you decide, today I give my profound thanks to you and the community of York County for engaging in the very thing that we should all be proud of in the United States. No matter our differences of opinion on this local issue, we are all Americans, and the spirit of public engagement and civic duty are the ideals that we are trying to live out in the best way we know how. Let us come together on that. Until a couple months ago, I worked at OPPD on the Renewable Energy Resources team. I was the lead technical subject matter expert working and advising on all the engineering, technical, and economic elements of the solar project that has prompted so much discussion and has in many ways culminated in this moment. I spent the last 8 years in the electrical industry, and I now work as the manager of resources planning and transmission for the Municipal Energy Agency of Nebraska. However, I'm not here as a representative of me today. I'm here on my own time with no vested interest in the project, and I don't currently have any business in York County. And for that reason, I understand and recognize that my words will carry little weight. At the same time, I believe that because of these reasons, I can speak both freely and from a position of very deep expertise. The current zoning regulations for Class 4 solar facilities are frankly un-American. I don't understand how Americans can reach a half mile into someone else's property and tell them what to do. I don't understand how you can reach a half mile into somebody else's property and take money out of their pocket. If you truly believe that there was an impact at that distance, I can understand the justification. But there isn't. Your planning consultant told you as much, and every expert that works in the industry will have told you as much. I myself prepared many responses for this community that said that there isn't an impact at that distance. And I did so with all the integrity and honesty that a man can muster, because I believe in democracy, I believe in America, I believe in free markets, and I believe in individual liberty. If you want to know what government overreach looks like, then look at folks who will impose regulation on someone else's property when they know those regulations go beyond protecting safety and property. Again, I recognize that this is not my community and that you are not my elected officials. My hope is that York County sees the ideals of the United States the same way that I do, and that the truth of my words will mean more than my zip code. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your public service. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Nate.
Good morning.
Morning.
Linnea Williamson, 1814 Rodell, York. I'd like to touch on both subjects. Also, the fire that's been going at 19th and L for almost a month now. I'd hope that we could come together and, like Will said, have a resolution to put this out, with it being a detriment, like we said, to our cattle and the neighborhood. When it did hit our property yesterday and burnt down in our pasture, we have large amount of trees on both sides of the road that if they hadn't driven past it when they did, and I got out there to call 911, it could have ended up to our house. And that's a scary thought with the wind yesterday. And I know the neighbors all around have smelt it for the past month. Driving conditions have been awful. You can't see down the road and things, so it has been caused issues there too. Also on the solar issue, I don't know why anybody would want to use prime farm ground to put solar panels on. York County has the best farmland in the state of Nebraska. And maybe we should put, if you want solar panels in York County, I don't know why Omaha wants to come out here, maybe they should just use Omaha ground, stay in Omaha, put your solar panels there. But we could start at Cornerstone Bank, and put some solar panels there, or some other buildings here in town. You just maybe use some parking garages. That way you cover cars when people park. I believe they do out in California, places like that. So let's leave our farm ground alone. We have the best in York County. So those are my opinion. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else at this point in time? Cale?
Greetings. Morning, my name is Cale Geese. I'm here today representing OPPD and want to speak mainly to a repeating concern that I've heard about how solar doesn't mesh well with agriculture. And that's somehow out of way or out of step with the way that we've done things in rural Nebraska. And I get that it feels new, but I actually think it's very consistent with the values that we've always had. You know, for decades, Nebraska farmers have been in the energy business. You know, ethanol has dramatically shaped the landscape of agriculture here in rural Nebraska. And it gives additional income and benefits to the communities and gives those farmers an extra tool to use. And I believe that solar does the same thing. It lets landowners harvest a different kind of crop, a crop that uses the sun, rests the soil, and still provides for the next generation. We recently met with some representatives from Green Plains Ethanol here in York County, and they were very excited about the K-Junction project. They told us that having a solar facility nearby would improve their access to markets, and that this could boost demand, improve pricing, and directly benefit corn producers in York County. This is a win for local ag, not a threat to it. At the end of the day, solar is just another tool in the farmer's toolbox. We know how volatile farming can be. Input costs go up, weather gets unpredictable, and prices are never guaranteed. A project like K-Junction helps farmers smooth out those bumps, diversifies their income, and helps them stay on the land, keep the farm in the family name. I grew up around agriculture. I'm a 6th-generation farmer. I know what it takes to run a farm or ranch, and I know that families who've signed up for this project aren't trying to get out of farming, they're trying to keep farming. They're making a choice to protect their land and their legacy. It's just with a different kind of harvest. Thank you.
Thank you, Kel. Morning, Jim.
Good morning. Jim Jackson, 9007 Route 2, Fairmont, live in Hayes Township. There are several things that disturb me about this situation. One, all the urban interference in rural communities. Sure, this is green energy, you say. Well, we don't get any of that. All we're talking about is tax money. It's going down to Omaha. They don't want any steam plants that's visible in their place. They closed their nuclear plant. They still got the power line up there that leads to nowhere. Then the other problem is, as neighbors to the people that signed up this is a wedge that's not needed to keep people apart. I see their position, but nobody, of all the times I've met with OPPD or even EDF, nobody has ever explained anything except what the money, the energy it can produce, the tax money it can produce, the money they're going to pay the guys that are putting the land in. We've never heard, like, it takes 7 acres of solar panels to make a megawatt. Solar panels are really inefficient area-wise. The other thing is, we had waited all this time to get the zoning committee. They sent you some deals, some rules and sets what to do. And if you wanted to change them, you should have done it. And in my opinion, in my recollection, the zoning committee hadn't even met for 3 years before we started on this deal. And it's just beyond me why there's no information back to the people that are going to be affected by it by not being in on what the ramifications are on how many panels, where you're going to go. You can't have them in dry draws because those dry draws get wide enough to go over the roads, and there aren't any floodplain zones maps for the county. And anyway, how did we get this way that we had to vote again? Thank you for your time and
Thanks, Jim.
take care.
Yes, we will not end public comment at this point in time, but we are really close to our Board of Equalization time to take up one matter there, and then we'll come back to the public comment. So at this time, we will recess the Board of Commissioners, and Daniel, turn it over to you.
Very good, thank you. Roll call, please, for the Board of Equalization.
Ott,
Here.
Burgess,
Present.
Bowman,
Here.
Obermeyer,
Here.
Groves.
Present. The open meetings law is posted in the back of the room as well as outside and on our website. Proof of publication for this meeting was in the newspaper April 10th and on our website April 11th. First up, need to review and approve the minutes from the April 1st Board of Equalization meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Burgess,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Obermeyer,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Groves.
Yes. And we need to adopt the agenda of the Board of Equalization for today.
Move to approve.
Second.
Very good, thank you. Roll call, please.
Obermeyer,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Groves.
Yes. And this meeting also has a public forum, so if anybody from the public would like to speak regarding the Board of Equalization, we can have that comment now. Seeing none, we'll move on with the rest of the agenda. So today we have discuss and act on the exemption of motor vehicles by qualifying organizations. And the one in front of us is for York General Health Care Services. Looks like it's a 16-passenger bus used to transport assisted living residents to community activities and appointments. And it has been marked as recommended for approval by the county treasurer.
As the recommendation from the county treasurer, Megan, to approve, I'd recommend that we accept this application for exemption for York County General Healthcare Services for the Micro Bird, I believe it says, 2025 bus.
Second.
Very good, thanks. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Ott, Groves.
Yes.
Yes. All right, we do have another one that will be coming in the near future, but we didn't have it on the agenda today, so we'll take that up at another time. So at this point, that covers what we had on the Board of Equalization agenda, so we will be adjourned.
Thank you, Daniel. We will return back to our meeting and take up the public comment. If there is more that would like to step forward at this time, they may do so. Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Josh Moning. I am director of a group called New Power Nebraska. We assist development companies doing energy projects across the state. I've also served as a local elected official. I was on the Norfolk City Council and served as mayor of Norfolk from 2016 to 2024. So I know the position that you're in. A lot of times these decisions are not easy, and it's a thankless job in a lot of ways. So I appreciate the service that you provide to your county and its residents. I just want to make a few comments here. I've not previously been part of this discussion, but just want to relay some real life experiences that I've had both in my work in the industry and as a local elected official with renewable energy. I grew up on a farm from an agricultural background in Madison County. I have seen in recent years, I came to this work because I'm interested in rural economic development and industries that bring investment to rural places. And I've seen that happen with energy projects in our part of the state, northeast Nebraska. I can throw a bunch of numbers at you, but I think that's already happened. You've heard of the potential economic impacts of this particular project in York County. I talked about real life examples. There is a project like this underway, just started construction in Pierce County, which is right next door to Madison County. And there's been a study, I think maybe some of these findings have been presented to you on some of the numbers from that project, but we intend to see in northeast Nebraska quite a jolt of new economic activity from a very similar sized project as proposed here in York County. I can attest that in the Norfolk area, when area wind farms were being built in the last 5 to 7 years, hundreds and hundreds of construction workers were in our area, were in our community, eating at our restaurants, staying at our hotels. It was a big jolt to the local economy, and that was in the wake of the COVID crisis. So it really helped buttress regional and local economic activity. This Pierce County project, again, which is a similar size to what's proposed here, is projected to bring 500 plus jobs to the area. It's projected to bring $2 million plus in tax revenue and about $6 million in local economic activity. I think using our resources, in this case solar, landowners who choose to do so, none of the renewable facilities that you see across our state have been put there without the consent of engaged landowners who sign contracts to host those facilities. So we like to think that this is a new farm income opportunity for farmers and landowners who choose to use their ground that way. It's a new tax revenue source. There's real life examples of counties in Nebraska, Dixon County being one, where Allen Consolidated School District was able to lower their property tax levy by about a third once a wind farm came in and started paying that nameplate capacity tax. And the new jobs are really a big deal. And both during construction and operationally, those construction jobs, those workers spend money in your communities, and we saw it. We can attest to it. So with all of that, I urge you to consider setbacks here that are reasonable, doing your job, protecting public safety and welfare, but also business friendly and allow for development to happen in a responsible way. So I'll stop there.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Josh.
your time.
Anybody else from the public at this time? Morning, Gene.
Gene Jackson, Hayes Township. Just a couple things I'd like to point out here. I guess it's going on about a month ago. We had this terrific storm that we've talked about earlier. I'll guarantee you there was zero green energy produced while that was happening in this area. Number two, last week, Perennial Public Power District put out their Perennial News every month. In that magazine, the financial officer laid out the finances of Perennial Public Power. They buy energy from two sources. One of them's Nebraska Public Power District, the other is from Blue Stem Power Solutions. You want to guess which one costs the most? I'm sure glad we don't have any more green energy in this country.
Thank you, Gene. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on from the public comment. We do have an executive session and we do have general assistance. We will hold off on those till a little later in the meeting. We're going to go ahead and seeing how we do have a full house, guys, I'm going to switch the agenda around and let's just go ahead and take care of the resolution while we have this, because some of this other stuff we got is just pretty house cleaning. So I would like to, before we take this matter up, I would like to address it, and I know that Jim asked the question why. Okay, so the why is, I came into a meeting 2 weeks ago with an assumption. And I know we all are told why not to make an assumption, but I did anyway. And so I was not prepared for the way the vote went that day. I assumed it was going to go one way, and it went a different way. I was taught a lesson. I don't know how many times I've been taught that lesson over my life, but I was taught a lesson again: do not assume. Okay? So after that meeting and after that vote, I went back to make sure that we did things right, and I found out we did things wrong. And according to our zoning regulations, in section 1103, paragraph 2, it clearly states it needs to be done by a resolution. So that's why, after talking with NACO and after talking with our county attorney's office, that we decided to put it right back on the agenda. Don't ignore it, just get it done and rectify the situation. So that's why it's done by a resolution. These meetings are run by me. I am the chairman. I screwed up. Okay, I should have been prepared. I should have read beforehand. I did not. So that's why we are where we are today. So gentlemen, you all have a copy of the resolution in front of you. It states what the dates have processed. Once again, this resolution has been looked at not only by our county attorney's office, but by the attorneys at NACO, and it was written by the clerk's office. So that is what's in front of you. If there's any discussion, let's have it now. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion for passage of a resolution.
Move to approve resolution 25-9.
I actually have a thing to say about this.
That's fine. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, well, I'm going to vote against these. I've already laid out my reasons in the last meeting, but I don't think we should approve these. They're clearly not done yet. I think Leroy made a good point last meeting of there not being a compromise here. That's why we're in the situation we're in, where we've got these such arbitrary rules, because there really isn't a middle space between banning solar and then having the reasonable regulations. But I don't think that's a good reason to ban solar. I think we've heard a lot about this is just another way for people to make money on their land, and I think that you should be allowed to make money on your land this way. It doesn't stop anyone around from using their land in a different way. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at. I've already gone over the specific changes I would like to make, and obviously what I was saying here is about the controversial stuff, but even the class 1 and class 2, the smaller ones, the current zoning is clearly not done yet. There's different setbacks in the table at the bottom than there are in the actual part for class 1. It's just the document is clearly not ready yet. I think that it would be foolish to move forward with this, as well as it goes against American ideals of protecting our property rights. So I don't think we should vote for this.
Thanks, Joe.
I will speak, since I'm the one who went this way and that way because of the feelings I've had over the last year and a half, the phone calls I've gotten, and the texts I've gotten, and just Joe started in on setbacks that were a certain way and do this and do that. Nothing against you. You'll get my point when I get to it. But when I'm talking about compromise, true compromise, Joe's sitting there giving these setbacks, and I don't know if you've seen Groundhog Day, but I sat in that chair a year and a half ago and did the same thing. And that's exactly what it felt like. Oh my God, we're starting over again and we're doing this. What are we doing? And I know that you sleep 2 hours a night and wake up think about zoning. It starts to wear on you. I had a nice long conversation with my wife this morning about wearing on you, how things can wear on you. So that's where my vote last time came from, was this is getting tedious and long in 5 years, and the phone calls we get every 2 weeks about this. I know Randy you can look at us and tell.
I would love for there to be somewhere in the middle, but nobody wants that. I just, and I'm, might change my vote back the other way again this time, so you can all be mad at me, and then the ones that were mad at me this time can be happy with me next time. I'm trying to do what's right for the county. I'm not, it's difficult. It is very, very difficult. So, I would hope that there would be some way that we could end up somewhere in the middle, because the ethanol, nobody liked it when it came either, did they? Nobody. You had an excellent point. It's just, that's where my vote came from last time. And if I change my vote, I guess I changed my vote this time. I would, because landowners do have rights, and completely outlining something was not my intention last time. It was not. So, that's it.
Thank you, Leroy.
One piece is, you said this has been reviewed by everybody. The only thing that I want to just make sure of, in the second paragraph, it says that York County Planning Commission conducted a public hearing at their regular meeting on the 24th day of February. I just want to make sure that that was indeed advertised as a public
That's the date that Nate gave me.
as
Is
a
he still in
public
here?
hearing.
Yes, the 24th, yes.
There was public comment. I just want to make sure that this says that there was a public hearing. I just want to make sure that we did advertise that meeting as a public hearing.
Nate is shaking his head yes.
Thank you. To Leroy's point, I don't think any of us up here have come lightly to our decisions. We've listened to multiple people. We've looked at multiple pieces of data. I don't think anybody has not taken those comments, that data seriously, and digested it for themselves. I know, at least myself, I have. I would second Mr. Bowman's motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion regarding this?
I've spoken my piece many times. I've done my research. I've met with LPPD multiple times. I've met with both sides of the fence on this issue. I'm ready to vote.
Okay. No other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Groats,
Yes.
Ott,
No.
Burgess,
No.
Obermeyer.
No. Okay, where that leaves us now is, the vote that was taken 2 weeks ago leaves it null and void because it was by a simple motion. The resolution does not pass. So yes, we will begin, again, it is discuss and act today on amending the zoning regulations. So this will end today, but it will be right back there again, and obviously we'll have to have the talking about the regulations and whatever we're gonna bring to the table. So at that vote, I would like to take a break for just a few minutes, and if you're more than welcome to stay the rest of the meeting, but let's just take about a 5-minute break and take a breath for a minute. Okay, thank you.
I learned last time that when I muted this, it didn't mute.
Okay, we'll come back into session. Once again, we do have the executive session and general assistance cases that we will take up yet today. First off, we're going to review and approve the payroll and vendor claims, and we do have a couple added claims also. There was some kind of glitch. Josh with the Sheriff's Office had called me. These are going to be from Cisco, so they'll come out of corrections. And do we have a total on them together, Mary?
No, I don't.
So this, do I have one here?
670.
One is for 677.45, and the other is for 388.12. And one is the Cisco is 677.45, US Food is 388.12. Apparently there was some kind of glitch in the billing, and then they ended up being late, and these are the people we get our food from to feed our prisoners. So Josh wanted to add those in as to not get into trouble with them.
It's 1,065.57.
So those would be added under corrections. Did anybody see anything else that they want to visit about?
Two claims I'll bring attention to. One being a fairly large phone bill. It's under miscellaneous. This is one that we've been working on for quite some time, and it was a bill that everybody in the courthouse felt we had canceled. We had multiple conversations in getting that account closed. However, they kept billing us. Through conversations with the county attorney's office, it was found that the vendor, the way they are explaining it is that we did not cancel the correct account, and so therefore they continued to bill us. So we came up to an agreement of an amount to pay, and so that is in here to get that closed out and behind us. The other one that
That's under miscellaneous is where it's at.
Correct.
Right, under miscellaneous.
The other one is under inheritance tax to Cross the Roads trailer. That is for our new gravel belly dump trailer. So it was delivered. We did have a few items with it that we are our maintenance guy over in the roads department is taking care of it, and they have agreed to take care of those issues. So we'll take care of that before we get it on the road, but we do have it in our possession.
Okay. Anybody see anything else in the claims that they want to visit about? I think they were pretty cut and dry. General was not very much to begin with, so it looks like we're buying rock and gravel. So, okay. So I'd entertain a motion to approve claims with the added claims.
Move to approve vendor payroll and vendor claims with the additional vendor claims.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Odd?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Obermeyer?
Yes. And next up, discuss and act on a funding and transfer. We will do a transfer today of, this is from the general to Aging Services 1300 fund. This transfer is $14,812.67.
Actually, it's from inheritance.
I'm sorry, from inheritance, to 1300, which is Aging Services. $14,812.67. This is a budgeted transfer that is the remainder of the money that we will be transferring across. So that we need to take care of today.
Move to transfer.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Odd?
Yes.
Obermeyer?
Yes. Okay, next I wanted to bring attention to the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Obviously that is an entity that we share with the city, but we house it in our building and we are in control of it. So I wanted to bring to the attention the work that they do, and encourage the commissioners at any time to pop over there and just take a look and see what they do and visit with them, because sometimes they're off in the corner and they don't necessarily know us as well, but they're taking care of stuff. It's a very unique position where you go from sitting there 0 to 60 mile an hour in a half a second when the call comes in, and they got to know what to do and what to say. So very valuable part of our community. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention that this week is Telecommunicators Week. And actually, if you stop in this week, it looked like there was a bunch of snacks in there too. They had lots of people giving them stuff. So any other discussion on that, guys? Next up, discuss and act on submitting an application for public transportation funding. Lori.
Lori Byers, York County Public Transportation, and we're a little delayed in this because I wasn't able to get the notices in the paper, because the day I was supposed to do that, we had the big storm. So we had to delay this, the notice. But anyways, every 2 years, we have to submit a request for transportation budget, an application for funding for public transit. This is 5311 funds, which is for public transit, not 5310 funds, which are just for aging or those that are older individuals. So it is public transportation. And in years past, I've explained, but I'll explain again because there's some new members on this board, that the amount of money put in our budget that goes to NDO and DOT is far more than you will ever see in our budget. And that is because if we have an inkling that we might want to do a project within this 2-year period, we have to request it now to have funds to cover it, should we want to. So they were asking of anything like, do we want cameras in the vehicles? Do we want, anything that we might want to do, we have to put it in this budget document. So I'm just giving you forewarning now that this will not be what our budget looks like that comes to you guys. So there's some certifications that need to be signed. Those are the usual certifications that we sign. Actually, the certifications are signed every year, but they are part of this first application. And then we'll sign the certifications again next year, but we'll be on the same funding document. So I'm just here right now to get support from the board and to have the document signed so we can formally submit our application for funding. And then when they get everything they need, then they will send back the actual contract or agreement that then we'll ask you to sign that one again as well. So
Okay.
that's the
Do you know what the turnaround is typically on that, Lori? Is it?
they're going to start doing these by June 1st. They're hoping to get those agreements submitted back to us for signature.
Okay.
So I'd say early June, we should get on the first
Before budget year.
before budget year.
Okay. Okay. Any questions of Lori on this? So this just takes a motion to allow chairman to sign for the time being.
Yep.
So moved.
Thank you, Leroy.
Thank you.
Everyone, you grab. Any other discussion? Roll call, please, Mary.
Aye.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Groves.
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
I will say it's been available for 2 weeks at our office for the public to review, but we
Okay.
haven't had anybody ask for it. And I labeled all the signature places.
On the other matter, are you around all day today?
I will come back to check in to see when you guys are finished.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up, Tanya.
So we have a 4-H, right?
Good morning.
Love it. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's not fair stuff. I mean, sorry. Oh, fingers. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, thank you. Sorry. All right. Okay. Tanya Crawford with Nebraska Extension, York County. Okay, so I am here because of, well, basically I wanted to talk about 4-H in York County, but also bring awareness to a national campaign that is actually going on with National 4-H, which then trickles down to Nebraska 4-H and also then in York County. And so it's a national campaign called Beyond Ready. And so what it is it is building the next generation. And so it really is, it's nothing new to 4-H. We are always preparing youth for to be ready for life beyond, you know, when you graduate high school, you're ready for to be ready to go out into the world and work and prepare for life. And that's what 4-H is we're building leaders. We've always had that mantra, we've always said that and those types of things. And so this is just kind of now, what happened was they did a national study, and some of these things are starting to come out. The survey, from the survey, what's coming out is that we actually have the largest generation at risk right now. And so the first side of here is some interesting statistics. But the Beyond Ready campaign is National 4-H has a mission to reach 10 million youth. Our youth, the road ahead is very challenging, but yet we are seeing that 4-Hers are succeeding. So the data shows that compared to their peers, 4-H youth are 2 times more likely to have goals of being leaders. They are 3 times more likely to participate in community service. They're 2 times more likely to report living life with intentionality and purpose. Right now, the survey is showing, we know that these youth are the largest generations at risk. So teen math scores dropped 9 points and reading scores have dropped 4 points since 2020. This is the largest decrease in 50 years. 30% of the youth are chronically absent. This has doubled since 2018 and 2019 school year. 1 in 5 children are living with a mental health disorder, and we have alarming levels of negativity about themselves, their confidence, they have alarming levels of negativity about themselves, their confidence in their future, and their ability and contentment in life. This is what's happening right now. And that's why young people need 4-H now more than ever. And K through 12 schools can't do it. Like they can't do it alone. We have to be able to help them. And so this is where we are important, and 4-H is rising to the challenge. So we are positioned for this perfectly. If you look at the stats here, it says 85% of the jobs in 2030 haven't even been invented yet. 77% of employers say focus less on traditional school subjects and more on real-world skills. That's what 4-H is. That's what 4-H does. That's what we give them. Skills like analytical thinking, creative thinking, resilience, flexibility, and adaptability are key. So this is where we play a huge role. This is where we play a part. So Nebraska has a statewide goal. Currently, we reach 1 in 3 age-eligible youth. Nebraska has a statewide goal to serve 1 in 2. That's our goal. Nationwide, 4-H reaches 6 million youth. We are the largest youth-serving organization. However, there are 54 million youth in the world that are still not being reached. That's the number that we should be concerned with. Not that we reach 6 million. It's the ones that we're not reaching. That's what we need to be working with. Those are the ones that need 4-H. And so that's where this campaign, this goal is coming from. And so that's what we're trying to do. Now, if you look at the back, how do we do this? This is how we do this. This is how Nebraska does this. We have to think creatively and provide opportunities for youth that will be intriguing to them, will be exciting to them. And so we do this in Nebraska through our focus areas. So we do all of this with positive youth development in the center. We want them to be leadership ready. We want them to be innovative and entrepreneurial, have innovative and entrepreneurial mindsets, okay? We do this through these four focus teams or focus groups. So ag and food systems, college and career readiness, STEM, and healthy wellness. Those are the 4 focus teams that Nebraska chooses to focus on. So like in York, Amanda Hackenkamp, the extension assistant, she does a lot of college and career readiness things with youth. So if you may have helped with or seen our Connect the Dots program, I know Randy you have helped with that before. She also will go in, we're currently looking to pilot a financial literacy program, which is helping kids learn about just their spending habits, like needs and wants, those types of things. And so those are some of the programs that are coming out of that group. I am on the health and wellness team, so we do a lot of nutrition education in the schools, and we have a program called Health Rocks, which is drug tobacco education, awareness, those types of things. That's coming out of there. Then your typical ag and food systems, which is, I mean, that makes sense, right? That's your ag stuff. And then the STEM team. So each of those areas are going to be programs that we are giving opportunities for youth to explore areas in those areas. Now, how we deliver those are the programs on the outside. It's maybe clubs, camps, school enrichment, after-school programs, special interests, or virtually. And so that's how all those things are delivered. In York County, in the past year, we have increased our reach from 53% to 82% of the youth reached in York County, which has actually, we've already reached the state's goal of 1 and 2 youth. So we are pretty proud of that, and we hope we can continue to do that. Last year, we reached 1,551 youth through 11 school enrichment programs. We reached 238 youth attended our summer workshops, so that would be like a special interest program. We have 291 youth that were enrolled in our traditional 4-H program, so that would be like your clubs, which would be your traditional county fair type of things. And so we need to continue to grow that and to continue to do that. And to do that, and part of the Beyond Ready campaign is we need to help, ways you can help us and ways you can partner with us are to help us to recruit more youth to be a part of the program. Youth ages 5 to 18, serve as an adult volunteer. We are always looking for volunteers. We need volunteers to help in many different ways, from traditional 4-H club leaders to helping with programs that we put on. Just if you have a special interest that you're really good at, if it's you're really good at photography and you want to come help, teach some kids a workshop, or if you just want to come and talk at a club or to a club meeting and speak on something about natural resources or anything like that. Like, we're always looking for volunteers for that. Partner with Extension to deliver a program, make a philanthropy, I can't even say, donation, we'll just say, and those types of things. But there's lots of ways that you can support and help us to continue to grow this program. So that's kind of what the Beyond Ready program is. This is where York County is standing as far as the goal of Nebraska. We're pretty proud of what we're doing here so far. To me, 4-H is really, it's really important that we are really with those kids, teaching those kids. I know I've told Randy this many times. He says, why is it so important that you're with those kids all the time? Those kids are our future. They're the ones that are going to be making those decisions for us later down the road. The further we get away, the further we're removed from agriculture, they're the ones that are making those decisions. And if we are not instilling those things into them right now, and those decisions are, they're the ones that are making those decisions later. And so they're the ones that are taking care of us when we're in the nursing home or whatever it is later, right? But we have to continue to give those skills to them that even the sewing skills, we get these people all the time that are like, my kids just don't know how to sew a button on anymore. They're not getting those things. And we are the ones that are be able to give them those skills. So that's what we're continuing to do. We hope that people still see that that's a value. And like I said, schools can't do it, but we don't have time. So we're trying to partner with other groups, other organizations, work together to be those positive adult, positive role models, positive experiences, create opportunities for youth in other areas. Any questions? Geez, you think this is my desk?
Yeah. Appreciate you coming in today, Tanya. How many clubs are in York County?
That's a good question. 23, you think? We've got some really, really big ones. Yeah, maybe, I think I just had a leader training and I think I had about 15 leaders.
16.
15 leaders show up. So yeah, we have I think 15 clubs that are pretty active. Some are very large and it's hard to manage a very large club. They'll split them into groups. They'll have lots of Clover kids. So Clover kids are ages 5 to 8, which is a non-competitive. So that's those younger kids that are just starting to kind of learn about it. And so they're so excited, of course, about everything. So they're there just to kind of experience it. And so lots of times when you have a club of Clover kids and then you have a club of like kids that are 10, 11, 12, you have to split them sometimes. And so we have lots of clubs that have that. We just had our speech contest actually on Sunday. It was communications contest, I'm sorry, which was speech, and presentation. And we had 12 kids do that. We were there for 2.5 hours. It was awesome to hear these kids talk about, we heard everything from rabbits to coyotes to, we had a bee, one girl gave a presentation on bees and plants, and we heard the Pledge of Allegiance from a little Clover kid. She stood up and did the Pledge of Allegiance for us. Another little Clover kid gave us a quote from To Kill a Mockingbird. Like, yeah, I mean, so things like that. Just like this, we had this little 5-year-old that's standing up in front of kids and talking, like teaching them communication skills. So really pretty cool. We had our archery and our BB gun contest was 2 Sundays ago. So kids are learning safety around guns and like that. I mean, it's just crazy. It's amazing to watch the youth interact with these adults. We definitely need more shooting sports volunteers. So if anyone is interested in shooting sports and wants to be trained in that,
It's probably your biggest growing area.
it is our biggest growing area, and we need more adult volunteers. You have to be certified to do that, and we are looking to host a training, hopefully in York, to be adult certified in August. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Any questions of Tanya? Appreciate everything you do.
Yeah.
Glad you
Thank
came
you.
in.
Thank you.
Sounds like you're busy.
We are very busy. We're wrapping up our school enrichment right now, and then we will shift to summer workshops in the summertime.
Okay.
In May, they come out, so, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
Yep.
Okay, Chandra's been waiting, so let's go ahead and take up the general assistance case. At 9:51, I'd entertain a motion. We go into executive session to handle a general assistance and prevent the needless harm and injury to an individual.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion?
Did you say in there who is joining me?
Chandra will join us and county attorney's office will join us.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Groats?
Oh.
Yes.
You first, didn't you? You did first? Okay.
Oh.
Bowman?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Burgess?
Yep.
Obermeyer?
Yes.
That sucker.